College sports conference commissioners must provide the institutions within that conference strategic and operational leadership that will give the institutions within the conference an opportunity to promote, market, generate publicity for the conference, along with making sure all athletic, financial, operational compliance matters are on point. When those institutions within the conference come up short in any of those areas, they will want to make sure the commissioner is aware so that he can take immediate action to put things in place to keep things moving and running smoothly. We're going to talk about a commissioner who fumbled it all, and those presidents within that conference didn't stand up and hold his behind accountable. We're going to get into it right after this. Your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos and tap in the friend to tell them to come on in. It's not but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump on in this thing. I know you're like, Coach, what you got brewing over there now? Because I like that last video you put out there, talking about, these athletes with the transfer portal, understanding everything that they need to do. If y'all didn't check out that video, y'all need to make sure you go back and check that thing out, see what's going on. But I got to give Commissioner Dr. McClelland his flowers right now of the SWAC. I got to give him his flowers because he's going to be the first from an FCS HBCU conference to chair Division I Men's Basketball Committee, a committee that he's been a part of since, I believe, 2019. Now, if I'm not mistaken, congratulations again to Dr. McClelland on getting that seat to make sure you continue to keep moving Division I Men's Basketball athletics forward. So I got to give you props on Commissioner McClelland. The other commissioners, MEAC Commissioner Steele, SIAC Commissioner Holloman, CIAA Commissioner McWilliams, and again, SWAC Commissioner Dr. McClelland. Tomorrow Leader Sports Network want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you and all the hard work that you put in to your conferences, making sure that you're able to continue to keep moving them forward, bringing a positive light over everything that's going on within those conferences. But I got to say this again. Dr. McClelland, I got to say this because you know what? I like when Dr. McClelland get to talking that spicy talk, letting everybody know, hey, listen, why everybody thinking that HBCU conferences, they're like we looking for handouts. We looking for a pick-me-up or something or another. We got things moving in the right direction with the leadership in a lot of these different conferences. And Dr. McClelland mentioned in an article by HBCUsports.com by Kendrick Marshall, which Dr. McClelland stated, and I quote, "I've said it before and I say it now. We are not the small black college or conference anymore." Dr. McClelland also went on to say the SWAC is a legitimate force and the revenue numbers are tracking extremely strong. Now, for Dr. McClelland to make that type of bold statement, he has a plan that the presidents of the SWAC, those institutions within that conference, they believe in and they trust exactly what he's doing to make things continue to keep moving in the direction that they need to move. Because you got to understand, Dr. McClelland doesn't get to make any moves unless the presidents vote okay for it to go the way that it's supposed to go. I keep trying to get everybody to understand it. And a lot of folks continue to keep questioning that. Like Dr. McClelland can really go out here and say, hey, I'm going to go buy me $1 million home off the SWAC money and it's A-okay. No, it ain't. Not without the daggone, not without those presidents within the conference saying, hey, it's okay for whatever to be done in whichever manner it needs to be done. I just threw that house out there as an example because, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's being said. I'm just trying to understand where is it all coming from. When decisions are made, there is a vote that's put out there in which a majority vote will take things to the next level. So it's not like, okay, you got one person say yeah, and then everybody else say no, we're going to move, full steam ahead with that anyway. No, it don't quite go that way. But obviously these media deals have been something that's been on everybody's mind for the longest. And, I got to give the SWAC their props. Obviously the media deals the SWAC has been able to generate with ESPN and HBCU Go must be lucrative for the institutions within the SWAC. I had to use a previous media contract to get an understanding of how things go. See, there is tiers to this game. Yeah, I said tiers. There's tier of rights 1, tier of rights 2, tier rights 3. Now, I'm looking back at a media rights deal from 2011 where you had the Big 12, the Pac-12, the SEC, the Big 10, Big East, right? Now, I mean, you're like, Coach, why are you looking at them? They don't have nothing to do with the SWAC, the MEAC, the SIAC, or CIAA. Well, I mean, hey, if you're going to think small, then you're going to talk small. If you're going to think big, you're going to what? You're going to talk big. And in this instance, guess what? Coach going to talk big. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to look at this look at this media rights deal because I want y'all to see this thing here for you to understand. I just want to enlighten you with this example so that you can see where I'm coming from because Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, they ain't talking about this enough for me. I mean, it's like everybody is sitting around being quiet. It's like it's crickets going on right now, especially when you have your good friend that's now over in the Pac-12. They don't have a one media rights deal right now. No. Tier 1 media rights deal, meaning that they get first dibs on all games that's being shown. So you already know if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. With all of the hard work that the HBCU conferences do, the masses love to bring up the negative light that they may feel didn't go the way that they thought they should have went. And I mean, when it comes to these media deals and opportunities, for them to market the conference to, generate more funds, I mean, sometimes you got to think outside the box. I mean, I understand that, it was talk last year about the SWAC playing games in Birmingham, and a lot of folks was upset about that because of the fact that it would take a home game away from any particular school, which that money is normally used to generate financial stability within their cities or towns of where that HBC resides. And I understand that. I mean, you want to make sure that the finances is coming in there to continue to keep generating that revenue, to keep things rolling within your communities where your HBCUs are. So I understood where everybody's coming from. But this daggone old Pac-12 conference commissioner, Scott, he fumbled a major bag up to the tune of $50 million. And I'm still trying to understand how in the world did you do that? And you know what's so crazy about it? The Pac-12 is paying for it right now. Some of them, they might have went ahead and paid their portions back because they went and, readjusted their budgets. And, they furloughed folks. They was, putting freezes on this and freezing on that. They trying to shut some things down to make sure that they was able to get that money back. Because you're talking about $50 million. That's some serious jack. And not to mention, I'm going to give Commissioner Scott his props because when he first got there, they were the Pac-10. They were the Pac-10. And then they went to the Pac-12 because Colorado and I believe Utah was added to the mix. So they had 12 teams. So they changed up and went to the Pac-12. But you know what's so funny? Now you're back to the Pac-10 again because UCLA and USC is leaving to go to the Big 10. Now I'm still trying to figure out how that footprint going to work. But you know what? They understood dollars made sense. And daggone, the Big 10 got one of the biggest lucrative media deals that have ever been seen. So just understand, again, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. But yes, when I say the Pac-12 former Commissioner Scott fumbled a $50 million bag, the Pac-12 owes $50 million to Comcast, who overpaid them. I believe, was it 2017 to 2019, somewhere in there, they overpaid them, in which now Comcast is coming to collect. We've talked a lot about how the SWAC should get their own media conference, get their own media network, right? They should get their own network, should have a SWAC network. Well, understand one thing. The Pac-12 doesn't even fully own their network because during that time, they were trying to get away from dealing directly with the media companies so that they can go ahead and stand on their own, kind of like, the Longhorn Network, which they're making a lot of jack over there in the SEC, doing their thing and whatnot. And the thing is, they didn't quite understand how the game went. And what's so funny about all of this is that when you sit and listen to how everybody talk about Dr. McClelland don't know this, Dr. McClelland don't know that, oh, he's screwing up this, that. I'm trying to understand where them darts at for this guy, for the previous commissioner. Yeah, they moved on. They got a new commissioner now that's over the Pac-12. I'll give him that. He's got to come in there and clean up that mess. He would definitely be considered a hero for getting everything back in order. But again, I asked the question, how in the world does something like this happen and it hits the YouTube media, but it don't hit the mass media? You know why? Because so many of these folks have relationships with people. And the thing is, even now, with those relationships, guess what? the Pac-12 can't even get first tier of rights. They can't get a deal with ESPN right now. Why? Because there's a lot of, the other conferences jumped in there and they went ahead and solidified deals for themselves. Not to mention, they're looking to get deals. They're looking to re-up with WWE and UFC. So where does that leave you? Will they possibly get that tier 1 of rights media deal with ESPN? Possibly. That is, if somebody leaves some money on the table. I mean, heck, it was just stated in a meeting, I believe in Arizona somewhere, that ESPN wasn't going to do a rights deal with one media of rights deal with the Pac-12. I mean, look at this stuff, man. I mean, this is crazy. When you sit here and I listen to all of these different sport analysts that sat up and want to talk so reckless and crazy about how the SWAC was doing business or how HBCUs do business. Y'all don't put this out here to the masses for everybody to see how these other big name conferences do business as well. They do business more grimy than what you say these HBCU conferences are doing. So where's that information at? Where are those darts being thrown? I mean, I'm just one of them guys that sit back and like to read sometimes. And when I see some things that I got to talk about, I got to put it out there on the table. But, you know, we can't, like I said, we can't forget. We just can't forget that the Pac-12 fumbled the bag so major that not only is it affecting all of the universities within the conference, but now it's going to affect the athletes as well, because guess what? Possibilities, some of them scholarships that they got out there, they might have to cut those. Remember, I stated that they're now redoing their budgets to make sure that they had the finances in place to pay Comcast back. No, the Pac-12 haven't been able to get their network running to move away from the major TV deals. Like I stated previously, they do have tier 2 and tier 3 media of rights with those other media companies to get some of their games put on TV. Yeah, they're going to try to find a way to put some games in here and there in different spots to, you know, showcase what's going on. Definitely with Deion Sanders being over there, it's definitely going to be a big help for them to possibly get things in order for them to get that media deal that they so vehemently want and need to continue to keep things moving in the right direction. Like I stated before, everybody's out here trying to find a way to get things rolling, especially with their conferences, to continue to keep that revenue coming in there. Because, again, if you don't have that financial stability coming in, what do you have? But I do know one thing for certain. Dr. McClelland over here for the SWAC conference is definitely making sure that he puts some things in perspective as far as we're trying to move the SWAC in the direction that it needs to move. Yeah, we all of us HBCU fans is waiting for our time to see when will we get those big deals. When will we have a SWAC conference? When will we have a SWAC network that will host the media for the masses to see, giving them that opportunity to check out what all games is going on week in and week out. Trust and believe it's coming soon. I'm sure the commissioner, Dr. McClellan, as well as the presidents of the universities, they have a plan in place that they're going to put some things in, and they're going to get some things together where things are going to start moving forward and get us get to the things that we're looking forward to seeing happen within the SWAC conference. Matter of fact, within all of these HBCU conferences. Because I tell you right now, if one of these conferences is able to get a network up and going, it very well could help the others as far as with games being shown on those networks. The Big Ten did it previously with, some of the lower tier conferences that could not get their games shown. So the games were shown over on the Big Ten. Like I said, they do that as well. So all I'm saying is this. I think about the race between the tortoise and the hare. And we always see the hare take off like a bolt of lightning and leaving the tortoise behind. And the tortoise is trying to figure out, man, okay, I'm just going to run my race. You know, at some point in time, that hare is sitting there looking like, wait a minute, I got this tortoise beat. I can take my time. I can fall back. I can cool out. I ain't really got to move and groove like I need to. But understand one thing, that tortoise ain't going to give up. And when that tortoise crossed that finish line, 9 times out of 10, that tortoise is going to beat that hare, get to the finish line. And when it happens, we all going to be sitting here saying, wow, we finally made it. And I believe that we finally made it is coming very soon. But hey, shout out to all of the HBCU commissioners out there that's working their humps off. But Dr. McClellan, I had to go ahead and talk about this one because I sat here and I looked at this whole thing with this media rights business and looking at this daggone commissioner over here who fumbled the major bag. And still, everybody is, shh. The major folks ain't talking about it. But the folks that's creating content, they dropping it out there for your behind to see what's going on. But hey, Coach gonna go ahead and get up on out of here. But until next time, be the one and lead.